Hi, my name is Lewis Grant from the English 1101 class, and this video is about the short story, A Worn Path by Adula Wedley. Now, may I ask you a question? How can you see a story? What do you mean, see a story? You can't see a story. They're just letters on a page. You can't actually see anything. Or, can you see a story? Because using descriptive elements, you can help to paint a picture of the story in your audience's mind. And I think no story shows this better than A Worn Path. The author masterfully uses details and descriptive language to paint a vivid imagination into the reader's minds of how the story is going. So, in this video, I will be actually telling you how she does it and why it's important. How does she actually use descriptive language in her story and what it affects. First, we have to talk about her vivid descriptions that she paints throughout the story and how they're used to liven up the characters and the settings and the journey that Phoenix goes on. Without these descriptive elements, the story would be pretty basic. It's just an old woman going to the market to grab some medicine, but using description, describing the old worn marks on the woman, the wintry bleakness of her surroundings, and the final light of the village. It turned this story from a basic adventure to a vivid picture, something you could paint, and it shows and doesn't tell exactly what's going on in the story. Now, what actually specific images or sensory details does she use in her story? I mean, one that immediately comes to place is how she describes the trees as she passes. And I quote, "Big dead trees, like black men with one arm, were standing in the purple stalks of the withered cotton field." Or how she described her plight in the swamp when she's scared up by the black dog. She describes herself as lying on my back like a June bug. These specific images stand out to me because they're very much descriptive and also tell of the place that she lives in and the setting that's around her. This is likely the American South, deep South, probably near the coast where there's swamps and other things. And using metaphors like the June bug show not only of the knowledge she has of it shows specific images that she knows because she lived in the place. If you've ever lived in the South and seen how a June bug stands, or I guess lays, exactly what she looks like in that moment. They're significant because they not only tell of what's happening, but say the place that she's in and tell of the setting, not just how things are going. Now, one of the most important physical descriptions of the story is of Phoenix herself. So how does this actually matter? How she walks and what she looks like and all stuff like that. Well, there's a whole, at least a solid paragraph of the book just describing her to just show she's an old woman, feebled by time. She's not young, she's not vibrant, she's old and worn. But and other details, such as where she has to cross the log and crawl through barbed wire, it shows that she may be old, but she's resilient and determined due to the action she is doing at this old age. She's a woman worn by time, but still running to complete what she has to in order to save her grandson, or at least comfort him, make him feel better. Also in the first paragraph, when she describes her clothes, and I quote, "A dark striped dress reaching down to her shoe tops, and an equally long apron of bleached sugar sacks with a full pocket, all neat and tidy, and unlaced shoes. You kind of see from this, she may not have the most money. She would be described as poor, not having that much to give. But even though she makes her trek, not even knowing if she has enough money to get what she needs, but she goes anyway due to her determination and resilience shown in these details. How does all this writing actually apply to the emotions of this story? Well, the emotions are, the descriptive elements make the emotions not exactly out there, but subtle, more deeply baked in. You can't immediately recognize them, but you feel them, you know they're there. I mean, I think the best example of these subtle emotions is with her interaction between herself and the hunter, the white hunter that she finds, because it's not exactly friendly, small communication. There's a lot of tension, mainly just due to previous racial backgrounds and the fact that he has a bunch of big, dangerous dogs and a gun, which eventually leads to him pointing at her, the tension breaking. The tension was built up by the descriptive elements and the subtlety that interaction brought. Without those descriptive elements, the emotional subtlety wouldn't be there. The emotion would kind of be pretty basic, just laid out in front of you or not there at all. But with it, you can see how deeply her descriptive elements say emotion instead of just her, oh, she is scared, she is happy, instead of the basic middle school kind of descriptive words to describe emotions. It's in there deeper. So, all of this story, how does it actually connect to both the world we live in and the time it described? How do all these aspects connect to the real world? Well, I mean, the whole plot of the story is that she's an old, feeble woman taking on a burden that she really shouldn't have, but she goes on with it anyway. She's struggling just to relieve her grandson, and it kind of paints a picture of how African Americans during this time period really had to struggle in order to be able to survive, even if they may not be up to the challenge, but they still tried anyway. This is their only option. Phoenix couldn't just say, I'm too old, I can't go to the market, because then her grandson would suffer. Eventually, and which would lead her to suffer. She must go. She must take this perilous journey just to get the medicine her grandson needs. And it's reflective of many African Americans during this time, where they faced incredible hurdles by not only the poverty most of them faced, but also the burdens and the challenges that white people brought and forced upon them just because of the color of their skin. It shows that even though that they faced great challenges, they could still thrive and survive, but more importantly, exist in these hard times and be able to come up on top against most challenges. This book, these messages, they're like all great works, they're may seem not too subtle at first, but as you go deeper and deeper, the descriptive elements reveal themselves and paint a picture of a world scarred by many things. But yet there's hope in trying and determination and to do it. And ultimately, these descriptive elements help show the challenge that Phoenix had to go through in a way that your readers can best see. Overall, this book is truly an amazing piece of fiction. I thank you for taking the time to truly watched this video and grade it. I just thank you for listening. Goodbye.